Antonio Villarreal at Society 204, going live with the 7th annual South Texas International Film Festival. Today's theme, humanity. Each film telling its own version and perspective on how the struggles and triumphs of human life shape us. These amazing directors each brought a unique vision, telling their stories, and I can't wait to dive into each question and answer. Hello, guys. How are you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
All right. Awesome. It's a gorgeous day. Pleasure to meet you all. Let's start off with Forgiving the Unforgivable. Let's start off with that film. An amazing film. Let's just start off by saying, how long did this film take you to make, and how did you come across creating this documentary?
Well, first of all, it took 6 long years to do, and it's only 30 minutes. And I was looking for I was gonna do a little 3-minute documentary, and so I was looking for a subject, and so in my search, I found Belma, and we met for the first time, and we were kind of talking a little bit, and she said, well, it's funny that you called me because I have been wanting to tell my story. I've got this great story. I've talked in public a couple of times and I want to get my story out. And I kind of got goosebumps because, and I looked at her and I said, well, I've been praying for a good subject and a good topic and all that. And so we just it was kind of one of those moments, it was pretty cool. And
wow. I love that. A word that can describe it is kismet. It's like fate brought you guys together to tell this story that needs to be told. Let's start off by asking Velma a question. Seeing one of the quotes that I love from the documentary was, if you forgive others, I will forgive you. That's when you read from the Quran the first time. What was that moment?
Actually, first time, it is actually, I read it like many times, but like never that sentence that hit me in the head, what did I have to do? Until like at that moment when I read it again, and I say to myself, dear Allah, what did I did not do it? What did I left that I didn't do it? I didn't start getting better, returning to you. And what was the else that I left? And then to my brain calmly was, morning when you wake up and you find that you lost your arms, you are saying that you wanted the same thing happen to that guy. You wanted that even he get killed. So I said, I don't want to do that anymore. Why will I do that? Why will if I wanted to something good happen to me, I don't want something that happened anybody. Even he was my enemy, even he was do it to me. I said to, okay, Allah, I'm leaving him to you. You judge him. I don't want to judge him. I'm going to forgive him.
Wow. Those are powerful words coming from your amazing triumphant story. The hunger that you went through, the beans, the military dropping off the packages on mountainsides, you and your family having to wake up so early in the morning, hiding, scrounging, fighting your way to survive. And so this film was based on the Bosnian War, and it was a horrific tragedy that occurred, and you're a survivor, and you're a beacon of hope for others that are also trying to find that freedom. Forgiving others, I believe, is a form of freedom within itself, and like what you had just mentioned, you don't want to repay evil with evil. That's only creating a chain link of never ending, destruction. Why not break it by giving love, peace, and hope, right? And I think that's what your story is that's part of your amazing story, finding that triumphant hope and peace despite all your hardships. Your mother,
we forgive for ourselves, right? We forgive for ourselves, because if we're not forgiven, we've got that anger, that resentment, that hate, and when we can come to peace with that, I feel peace, and that's what she exhibits,
Yes.
you know.
I completely agree with you, and I think it's amazing how you guys portrayed that through your storytelling in that film. You put the audience in your shoes, and I felt what you felt in those moments of despair. I mean, the photos that went into putting all these into this documentary together. I mean, they're so compelling and so telling of what was happening in that time, and it actually puts the audience, it not necessarily puts the audience in your shoes, but it gives them a glimpse, an eyesight into what you went through. And it's an amazing story. Another question that I have for you guys is, seeing the speakers, your family, tell their story of, how they experienced all these tensions in your area, in your hometown, having to move, and then finally, escaping that tragedy and coming to America, fighting your way to learn a new language, new customs, new barriers that you had to overcome. And how was that for you?
The tell the truth, like from us from the beginning when we came, because my mom and two sisters come to the United States, and my father couldn't come with us that moment. He had to stay because he's still war and he's in the army. So when we came, we don't know the English. We only know like a hello and bye, and that's all that we know. And like I remembering one time, we tell our sponsors and the hospital that the brothers that we wanted to go back. 15 days after we arrived in the United States, we told them we wanted to go back. And they look at us and they say, why? We said, we don't know nothing here. We don't like it. We wanted to go back. And then like we go to the room, they say, okay, we're going to buy you the ticket. If you want to, we're going to buy the ticket. We have to first talk to the United Nations and check it up what was going on, because it was really hard to brought you. And I want to mention the Dr. Roberta Calafut was the one who roots come from the former Yugoslavia. And it was from her that she wanted to brought somebody that was injured from the Bosnia and Herzegovina. So she's from like a Croats, and I lost from the Croats arms, and like God putting us together. And then when we say to her like that, and she said, Belma, I got a lot through all those stuff that I brought you. Think, and or you really want to go back? So we go to the room, and my mom sit with us and talk, and she said, nobody in Bosnia going to believe that we want to go home. Everybody going to tell us we did something, and they kick us out. So better that you go tell them and, that you don't want to go, that we're going to stay here, and you will going to have a better future here than back in the Bosnia. So we go back to them and tell them, and so from that moment we start like more being interesting and accepting that was Abilene and the Dallas. After that is the Dallas, our home.
That's the first time I've heard that. I didn't know that story. Yeah, one thing we have to remember is it was a genocide. The Serbs, which were mostly Catholics, I think, and forget the religion, but they were cleansing that part of the country, and there were constant rapes. There was concentration camps, and it was terrible, terrible, terrible. And people, like you saw in the film, they were eating grass. They had no real food, no oils, no salts, and all of that. And it was just atrocious. I can't imagine being a kid and growing up in this.
Very horrific and very a very horrific story, but with a very happy ending. And I absolutely loved it. You deserve that and so much more. Thank you. We have a question from the audience before we move on to the next director in film. A question from Bill Thompson. In Forgiving the Unforgiven, where did you find those war photos? Belma was very interesting, he mentions.
Well, the a couple things. The war photos I found from a photographer that was, we had to purchase the rights for. And some guy that was, I don't know what nationality he was. He might have been Bosnian, but that. And then we got lucky on the photograph of Belma on the bed in the hospital in Bosnia. That it's a miracle that we found that. There was a Dutch, a Dutch USO person that took that picture, and somehow in a roundabout way,
I found it.
Belma found her, and and this is like what, 20, 30 years later that she found it. So,
and we communicated with her, and she told us like, you can use it. I don't mind.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. From beginning to end, this film was meant to be made, and I absolutely loved it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your
welcome.
hard
Thank you.
work and all your documentary, your film, your story. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Going to the next film, The Bridge, directed by Jordi Reis Sierra. Hello.
Sirera? Hello,
How are you doing
Thanks
today?
for welcoming me here. Yeah, very good. Very happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. If I may ask, can you give the audience a little bit of insight into what The Bridge means and what this story it tries to speak to the culture and to our society?
Well, The Bridge is a story about borders and migration, but also about love and about the idea of being reconnected with the people who's far away. I want to talk about universal subjects such as family, vision, alienation, and I portrayed these two characters and their journey towards the bridge, in order to speak about this broader subject.
Wow. It's a very powerful story.
Thanks.
I mean, even the symbolism that it has behind it, a bridge that keeps us divided, a crossing, a cultural divide, families separated, fatherless, and what experiences or occurrences urged you to make this documentary?
Well, the film started, the idea, I have it working on another film about someone who was living in Ciudad Juarez and working in El Paso. And she was married on the bridge. So that's where I got the idea of focusing just on a story of a couple who marries there. And the idea behind it was to try to talk about the border policies under a different angle. So try to discuss this pretty terrible situation that happens in the border through a different angle, and try to give it a different turn, a more human approach, and a more personal, and also to try to appeal to more universal subjects that everybody could refer to, because everybody can refer to the idea of being far away from their loved ones or far away from the homeland, or wanting to be somewhere else. So that's the main idea of the film.
I mean, all the stories that you followed in this documentary, in this film, told something amazing, and it told a different story, but at the same time they were synchronized together. Like it's a story of togetherness and understanding. I mean, when I saw this documentary, I was like, I mean, like what you had mentioned, we get separated from our loved ones, and that pain that people carry around with them every day. Exactly. We might not realize what they carry, and they could be our neighbors, they could be our teachers, they could be our students, they can be our family members, and we might not realize what torture and what pain they're going through. And this documentary visualizes that and encapsulates that, and it makes the viewer cope with them. It makes them want to relate with them. It makes them think and ponder within themselves, what can I do to make it better in this world, so that there can be peace for everyone. No more families divided, no more children crying, no more fatherless homes. So it was very impactful. One character that I loved was after he had a heart attack and coming to a realization, he came to this realization, living life, doing good for others. He describes himself as a unifier, a mentor, a service of hope, and an opportunity. I felt that message. I love that message. Can you describe more of that, please?
Well, in a way, I mean, the bridge talks, of course, about the bridge where this couple marries, that is between Ciudad Juarez and El Paso, but also Ruben, this character who's a wedding officer in El Paso, is himself a bridge because he kind of joins two communities together. In this case, Mexican and American, but also people from different nationalities. And also he's a bridge between the people because he eventually unites them. And it was very interesting, this story that happened to him and how he came to the realization after the heart attack that he had to try to do the good for others, no, and try to find a bigger call than just his work, and try to make the most for the community and for people who was in need. So I was really glad to find him, and actually he was the one who led me to start this documentary.
Wow. Wow. What a beautiful story. I love,
Mhm.
I love that. You know, like all these documentaries started with something like fate. They started with fate, you know, like,
Mhm.
and they ended with a beautiful message. And I love what you said right now about him being a bridge to others, not just a physical building made out of concrete, but
Yeah.
us ourselves as humans, as
Mhm.
souls, as flesh, being a bridge to others. And like what I mentioned, like it only takes one word to bring someone out of that grave. It only takes one gesture, a smile, something so
Mhm.
small and minuscule to create that bridge towards someone, to giving that hope and life. And I
Exactly.
absolutely, and I loved that film, and I love that message that you gave in that film. Is there anything that you want to say or give to the audience that are watching right now?
Um, I don't know. I'm not that good at speaking in public, although I'm in my house now. I just wish that the public had enjoyed the film and kind of saw this message um, of bringing communities together and how we can all work towards a better good.
Definitely. One of the quotes was a sense of belonging,
Mm-hmm.
a sense of belonging, finding that community, finding that belonging, and that film definitely encapsulates that, finding that belonging within our neighbors, within our community, within our culture, la cultura, nuestra sociedad, quien
Mm-hmm.
somos, ¿me entiendes? Todo encapsula lo que somos en nuestras personas,
Mm-hmm.
and I absolutely love that. Thank you so much.
I think that was an interesting one, the identity and the belonging, no, and how this can also shift when one moved from place to place. Like myself, I'm from Spain, but I moved to the UK, and now I'm in Mexico, and it's interesting how this idea of belonging and identity shifts through time, no, depending on where you are. And that was also a key subject that I wanted to address on the documentary. So I'm glad you mentioned this.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that for the audience? I know a lot
Mhm.
of people are taking a lot of gems from all of these conversations we're having.
Mhm. Well, just the idea. I mean, as I said at the beginning, that the film talks about one story, but I try to address larger subjects, and identity and belonging are key ones. And when I grew up in Barcelona in Spain, I kind of thought that, well, that was my identity, that was my environment and my belonging. But moving through other places and discovering new realities, it's challenging, but also brings in new ways to see the world and the new sense of belonging to, in my personal case, a more global understanding of who we are. No.
Definitely. Awesome. We have a comment from the live chat
Mhm.
from Leti Leja. She says, beautiful story and reflects the fact that love knows no boundaries.
Exactly. That was also another key element of the film, and something that I feel everyone can relate to, on the idea of loving someone who's far away or being separated from the family or the partner or the kids, and that's again something that I wanted to really address on the film. So I'm glad that she mentions this.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jordi Reese. I appreciate you. I loved your documentary. And if you can write your information on the live chat as well, that way
Mhm.
people can follow you
Yeah.
and follow your work.
Thanks. I will.
Thank you. On to the next one, which is Matamoros by director Cesar Rodriguez.
Hi,
Hi, Cesar. How are you doing today?
good, good. Happy to be here and happy to hear all the stories, the behind the scenes, and all the inspiring quotes also.
Awesome. Thank you so much. For the viewers and the audience, can you describe a little bit of your documentary to them?
Yeah, okay. Well, Matamoros Dreams and Hope is a project or is a film which happened in the city of Matamoros. It's in the border of the United States. And it is filmed in a migrant camp, a makeshift migrant camp, which lasted for 2 years, more or less. I was going there before I started to take film. I was there making photos, and I was talking to the people, and they were telling me their stories and all that. But I didn't have a recorder, and so I decided to come again to start recording their voices, their anecdotes, and all the struggles and all the happiness that they were getting. No, but when I arrived there, it was COVID, and the migration authorities in Mexico had fenced around all the migrant camps, so they couldn't go out, they couldn't go inside, but they wanted to tell the stories. So they told me that I could go in some kind of hole in the fence, and that they will take care of me. So I went inside and I started to record them. I just gave them a voice recorder, and I just went around the camp taking videos and talking to people. But the voice recorders, they were the ones who kept it for, I don't know, half a day maybe. And I just talked to them and told them, you can say whatever you want, your story, your struggles, your hopes, or whatever you want. You're free to say it, no? And I will try to take this voice and make it into a short film. So it happened like that. I talked to many people. They were the ones who gave their stories, and actually it was like really relieving for them, because they told me that they had so many feelings inside, and just talking to the voice recorder, like telling a story or telling a letter to families or just to the people, it was like very good for them. That's why they told me, no?
Wow, powerful, very powerful, and it's so amazing how you came and creative, how you brought this together, and not only creative and innovative, but that relentless pursuit that you wanted to tell their story. So many people would have already just turned back and said, you know what, I'm not going to go through this hole and do it with recorders and do this, but you went out of your way. You had to go through this hole in the fence to take these people's stories and make them go public and make them go worldwide so that others can see and relate and grow from them. Very powerful. And like what you had mentioned right now earlier, you said after speaking their stories, after talking about their stories, they felt this relief, this sort of freedom, and a lot of people, and that's all we need sometimes, right? As people, as a community, as a society, is we just need to listen. All we have to do is just listen. And there's so many people with so many stories that can bridge, going off the prior film, that can bridge together a community, that can bridge together a culture, that can bridge together many cultures into creating this what we live in, this world, right? If I may ask, what was one compelling story that really touched you from all of these amazing stories?
Honestly, all of them. I don't know. There was one woman who traveled with two very young kids, like 3-year-old kids from Honduras, from El Salvador. Like hearing how they walk, how they had blisters, how they had to hide from migration or the cartels, and just arriving to the border, to the migrant camp, and they were almost there, no? But they couldn't go because of COVID, because they had no papers. So that's why their dreams were on hold. Just a few meters away from that camp, it was the United States, no? And it was really hard for them. But I think like every story is unique.
Yes.
So hearing every story after they told it to the voice recorder, it was really like hard to me to hear them, no? Because some of them were crying, some of them were like suffering, but also it was also nice because most of them at the end they said things of hope, like their dreams didn't die, no, they were just holding there.
Yes, that the resiliency of humanity, the resiliency and the power of love, of not giving up, of continuing to fight for our loved ones, for ourselves, for what we describe our own freedoms, you know, for freedom is different for everyone, you know, and like what you mentioned, each one has a different story. But what I loved was that at the end of all that hardship, hope still exists. There is still hope, and that hope is the hope that drives humanity to reach out, to grab out, to tell a story, to tell your story, their story. You know, anybody in the live audience listening right now as well can relate with each and one of all the documentaries that were presented here, especially us down here in the border, South Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Like we're super close to Matamoros, and we can feel it, we can see it, we can sense it. You know, all these tragic stories right next to us. You know, and you know it allows us to think and to listen and to actually want to be that bridge to help others. You know, it might not necessarily be extravagant, but it can be something small, and that small seed will be planted within each one of us, and it will grow, just like each and every one of your stories in this documentary. All these people, you know, just like the woman and the children barely making it, and you know, seeing the promised land just right there, you know, and then being snatched right away from that, you know. So many strong and compelling stories. Is there something that you want to tell the audience?
Just that all of the women that were talking in the film, they finally got to go to the United States. They haven't been granted still the proper permission, but they were allowed to be in the United States with their families.
Wow.
Waiting until court settles and all that. So that's really, I don't know, good.
Wow. And I say that's a happy ending. Most of these documentaries had happy endings. And, you know, it just goes to show resiliency and humanity overcome. We will overcome, you know, only greater things are coming. We can do this together. We have a question from Leti Leja, or a statement. Even though Matamoros is right across the river from us, on this side, we really aren't aware of the struggles these migrants face. This documentary was so eye-opening. Thank you for sharing it with us. She just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, Leti.
Thank you, guys. Is there anything else? Any other live questions right now? We have 5 minutes left before the live chat ends. Any more questions for the live audience? Now is the time you guys can, the directors can put your stuff in the live chat. That way everybody can follow you, support your work, find out your next features. Also, I'll leave the floor to you guys. I'll start off with Cesar. You can plug in your work, where we can find you, and we'll do that for these last 5 minutes.
Okay, well, you can find my work in my webpage, which is guion. How do you say guion in English?
The guion is, I think that's the www, the website.
No, but then it's like not
.com.
underscore, the thing underscore.
Oh, the apostrophe. I think it's apostrophe.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. It's one of those.
Yeah.
But write it in the chat. That way, like, people can write it down.
Or on
perfect.
my Instagram, which is dash. That's how we call it. Dash.
I think I saw it. Yeah, I just saw it.
t-rodriguez.com. That's my webpage.
Awesome.
And my Instagram is Cesar_Rodriguez B. And
awesome.
Yeah, you can comment, ask me anything or whatever. I'm there.
Thank you, Cesar, and thank you for submitting for the South Texas International Film Festival. We appreciate you and your hard work and your beautiful story. Jordi, any other last statements before we finish the live stream?
No, just thank you all for welcoming me here and for welcoming the film. I'm really, really happy that the film is shown in the border, and I hope that we'll steer some ideas and bring new ideas to the audience. So just thank you all. I'm just gonna write down my details here as well. I was stepping on Cesar on the writing, but you can follow me on the website, Jordi Ruiz Photography, and also on Instagram, Jordi Ruiz C. I'll just write it down here so you can share. Thanks again.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordi. I loved your film. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Eddie Burns, any last words?
Well, I would just invite everybody to check out It's Forgiven the Unforgivable Facebook page. And Belma's pretty much the administrator of it. And that's it. I really
All right.
appreciated everybody's film. Great, very touching, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here and do this. It was an honor to be a part of your film festival.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an honor for you guys to submit to us as well, and to share your stories with us, our community, and the world. And thank you so much, Velma, for sharing your story as well. And thank you guys as well. Make sure you guys write that Facebook page in the live chat. That way people with a little bit of hearing trouble can actually see it and they can write it. But other than that, thank you all so much. The films were amazing, powerful, compelling. They told the story of humanity. Thank you all for submitting to the South Texas International Film Festival, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you. See you
Thank
soon.
you. Any last questions? Live chat, we got 2 more minutes for the live chat. Any more questions? All right. Thanks so much. So for the people still remaining on the live chat, stay tuned. Right after this, there's going to be The Collapse, a documentary feature. You don't want to miss this. Log on to www.stxiff.com. Log on to the Q&A. It's another compelling documentary you don't want to miss. And thank you all. Thank you again, all the live viewers. Thank you again, directors. We appreciate you here at the South Texas International Film Festival. And we look forward to working with you again and hearing from you again. Thank you, guys.